Good morning, team. It is Tuesday, September 5th. Wow, hard to believe Labor Day just happened, right? We got to get ready. We're going to move into this fall market very fast. So we have a great topic for you today. We're going to be talking about some things you can think about as you are gearing up for buyers this fall and into next year. So make sure you grab your cup of coffee, tea, power smoothie, maybe lemon water now that summer's over and we're getting back into gear. And let's jump into the next episode of Coffee with Amy and Kevin.
Yes. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, everyone. We are back at it. So talking about buyers, this is really important. We've focused a lot on listings because we knew that there was limited inventory. So we focused a lot on listing presentation, process, all of that, making sure you capture those. But buyers are a huge opportunity. Here's a couple of things we know. One is with the low inventory, buyers are aware. If they've stepped into the market in any way, they know that things are moving fast, likely in your market. And so with that, if they see an opportunity, whether it's on Zillow or Redfin or another site, are they going to reach out to you or not? Because it's much easier for them if they know that there's a timeline involved and there's the velocity and how listings are going. They're going to click to get that into that listing ASAP. Mm-hmm. And that could be the showing button on Zillow or Redfin or whatever.
It's kind of like the panic button. They're just going to push
it. That's right. And especially if you're not responsive. So we could talk about that another time. But here, the second piece of this that's really interesting is that Zillow did a massive survey. And this was from July. And they did a survey where they asked buyers or consumers in general if they were planning on making a move in the next 3 years, so 36 months. And 24% of respondents said that they were likely to make a move in the next 3 years. So that's a big window of time. But what it does give us is it gives us a little bit of optimism that buyers are interested in the market, that they will need to move. And that's why we're talking about this today, because buyers are an opportunity. We need to make sure that you're there in front of them when they do pull the trigger.
Right. And how many of you have ever worked with somebody for 3 years before they've actually decided to buy? I think I have, right? That's just sometimes the way it goes. It takes them a little while to make that commitment. But that stat is really interesting because that is coming from people who right now are already thinking about the potential of buying. But let's also recognize that there is going to be life that happens in the next 18 to 24 months for people that they didn't even know today. If they were to take that survey, they probably would have said no. But I can guarantee you they actually are probably going to be a buyer before some of the people who are already thinking about it, right? Life happens, death, divorce, more kids, running out of room, all of those different things. So what I want you to be thinking about, though, is that there is going to be a finite number of people who this fall and into 2024 are going to be a buyer in the market. The question that you need to think about is how many of them are you going to be working with? There are going to be a certain number of people who will be doing something in the next 18 months. And what you have to start thinking about is, am I going to be the one that they are reaching out to or want to work with because I seem as if I'm the one that's going to be able to create success for them? So today we're going to give you 3 things to think about to up your buyer game as we move into fall and we start thinking about 2024.
That's right. So number 1, we're going to look at your buyer process. And I don't mean how you handle showings, how you handle once you get into the contract phase. This is taking it way earlier. What is your buyer process for making connections between people and properties? Are you on top of the coming soons or the pockets, or in Chicagoland, there's something called the private listing network? How on top of it are you when you get emails from other agents about those coming soons? And we want to reference back to the ninja process, because one of the things that ninja teaches, if you're a ninja or not, one of the things that it teaches is every morning you review a list of your warm clients. Warm clients are those that are likely to buy or sell within the next 12 months. So for those, you have a list of all of your buyers and their needs. And if you have and are on top of those listings that are coming soon, that you've learned through your networks, through the PLN, through whatever it might be, you can start to visualize and make the connections now. And it could speed up the process. Meaning if you present them with a property that they're looking for now, that may move it from 9 months out to today. And with this, it makes sure that they aren't going to click that Zillow button, that Redfin button to go see it when it does hit the market. And there's a great agent here in Chicagoland who does this religiously. Every morning, 6 a.m., gets up, reviews her warm list.
Gets her coffee first.
Coffee.
But then,
Actually, very important. Gets the coffee first, then reviews that warm list and runs down the list on what her buyer needs are and tries to start matching them up with the properties she's learned about over the previous 24 hours.
Yeah, and it's her goal. She wants to beat out Redfin and Zillow. You know how those nightly feeds come in? Her goal is that the first email that they see is from her, where she's already telling them, not just about some of the properties that came on market, but we have a pretty decent off-market or pre-listing market here in Chicagoland. So she's letting them know about things that Zillow and Redfin can't.
Right.
But that's one of the biggest things that she does as part of her business plan every single morning, which is pretty cool. So you might be sitting there and thinking, yikes, but I can go ahead and take a look at what's on my MLS and make sure that I see those things maybe first thing in the morning and get out in front of those. But you might also be thinking, shoot, maybe I don't have as much of a connection to what's coming on the market. And that's your magic. That's part of us as agents, having that brokerage and agent to agent connection. One of the things you need to be thinking about is, how well do I know what's going to be coming on in the next 2 weeks, 2 months, even 6 months. And what I want you to be thinking about is, right now, listing agents in your area, they are taking listings right now for the fall market and probably for early spring. So if you're sitting there thinking, I'm not part of this group, because there's a lot of agents that kind of get onto a text thread or an email thread, kind of casually with people in their office, or even other top producers in their market in other offices. And they all kind of do this informal, knowledge exchange about, properties that will be coming. You need to get into flow with those groups. And if you haven't figured out or don't know how to do that, that's your strategy, and that's what you want to take a look at. Step number one, if I were you, is I'd take a look at who are some of the strong listing agents in your neighborhood or in the area that you service. Odds are they're going to continue to bring inventory on. And it might be a step as easy as starting to make contact with them and saying, hey, are you bringing anything on in the next couple of months, right? So if you do not have that network right now where you are, strategically in front of pre-market properties, your goal and the homework that you need to focus on the next few months is how to get into those so that you've got early access, because that's part of what the consumer sees in our value, is kind of knowing the trends of what's happening in the market before even Zillow or Redfin get to see it.
That's right. And you have to follow clear cooperation from NAR, right? But your brokerage may actually have a tool where you can do this as well. There's a tool out there called Converse that I know many brokerages have. Utilize the tools that are available to create that network that Amy's talking about. Insert yourself into that network.
Don't break any rules, but be strategic.
Correct. That's right. That's right.
I forgot to mention that part.
I'm always the one that comes in with
He's
the regulations.
always the voice of how to do it the right way. Yes.
Number three, then, this is a throwback to a few weeks ago where we talked about making sure you have success stories at the ready. And specifically now we're talking about buyers, where you've created success in this scenario where you've maybe highlighted a property, made that property and consumer connection, and created success for them. So have those stories at the ready. This does two things. The first is it conveys your value and why they should reach out to you, stay in contact with you when you reach out to them. And the second piece of this, there's a safety in numbers perspective here for buyers. Maybe they see high interest rates, maybe they hear about inventory and the fast pace. They may be intimidating themselves not getting into the market. If they see that others are doing it and how you're creating success, they're more likely to jump in knowing that they're not the only ones.
I love that. And I think that, success stories, they just always show that you've been there, done that before, right?
Yes.
And that makes, as you said, everybody feel really confident that you are the broker or agent of choice. So on that note, we hope that you found these 3 tips really helpful as you start figuring out your buyer strategy this fall and into next year. So make it a great Tuesday. Thank you for joining us. And until we see you next time, remember, you got this.